All right, since it's the Halloween season, I thought it would be a good chance to talk a little bit about this book right here. It's called Halloween. It's by Nicholas Rogers. It's not a fiction book. It's a book. It's called Halloween from pagan ritual to party night, and it's about the origins of Halloween and the history of Halloween. It was published in 2002. Um, I can't remember. I stumbled across it in a library somewhere actually, and I gave it a read, and it was pretty fascinating. Um, I'm not really going to do a review for it or anything. I'm just going to go through the book a little bit, and I'm sure anyone watching this video would be, who's a fan of October and the holiday itself would be interested in reading a book like this. Um, let's see. Chapter one is called Samhain and the Celtic origins of Halloween, and basically it talks about you know exactly what it says, the origins of Halloween. How the holiday started. As a Celtic, rite, and just the beginning of the holiday, where it all began. Um, and then let's see, chapter two is called Festive Rites: Halloween in the British Isles, and okay, it's basically goes over how Halloween was over in Britain. Well, how the Celtic thing kind of carried over into the more modern times. And when I say modern times, I mean like back in the before America was founded, and modern times to them back then. Um, but it talks about how that carried over, and how those traditions were being utilized and celebrated and everything. And then chapter three is called Coming Over: Halloween in North America, and that's obviously about once we colonized North America from England and everything, how we brought those traditions over here and made it our own, and the evolution of that. Let's see here. Chapter three is called Razor and the Apple: The Struggle for a Safe and Sane Halloween, and that goes into crimes that people commit on Devil's Night and on Halloween, and people being scared about tainted candy, and all the stories, and the legends and everything. And it's basically about Halloween coming into the modern times, and once again how the holiday itself changed. um, let's see, chapter 5 is Halloween Goes to Hollywood, and they actually talk about the 1978 John Carpenter Halloween film, and just horror films, and how the holiday has affected Hollywood and filmmaking, and the horror genre. Chapter 6 is Stepping Out, and that's a chapter basically about the gay and lesbian community, and how they've been using Halloween as a way to celebrate their lifestyle, and to be themselves, and to come out. And then chapter 7 is called Border Crossings, and that's basically about Halloween and other cultures, and all over the world, and there's pretty interesting stuff in that chapter actually, especially when they talk about like Spanish traditions, and like Day of the Dead and stuff. It's all pretty cool. Um, and then chapter 8, the final chapter, is Halloween and the Millennium, and it's basically talking about modern times, and how where it all ended up. But anyway, it's a really cool book, and I really enjoyed reading it. It was like a month or so ago. I mentioned this to somebody in the group, and they asked me about it, and I talked a little bit about it in some of the comments in the group. But yeah, if you're into the holiday and all that, you know, in history, and you know, if you like to bone up on things and learn stuff, you know, it's pretty cool. So yeah, it's Halloween by Nicholas Rogers. It was published in 2002, and you know, it's a cool book. So what's the publisher? Let me look here. Oxford University Press. So it's really good. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you might want to check it out. Whenever I was reading the book, it kind of reminded me of that animated children's movie from the 90s, The Halloween Tree. If you haven't seen that, I suggest you check it out. For me, it's required Halloween viewing. But they kind of go into the history of Halloween and all, you know, how it is and all the different cultures in that movie. So I think a lot about that movie when I read this book. But anyway, that's a good book recommendation for you guys. So if you're interested in it, check it out. And until then, keep it scary.